Who is hungry for a new food pyramid?
The new guidelines recognize that whole, nutrient-dense food is the most effective path to better health and to lowering healthcare costs.
The science is strong, and it continues to demonstrate that improving diet quality is essential to improving the health of Americans.
Having this sort of dietary nutrition will change, again, the course of American health and the course of American history.
Unfortunately, for decades, our country suffered from regulatory capture and junk science promoting junk food.
Today, we are setting the record straight, telling people the truth about food.
For decades, Americans have grown sicker while healthcare costs have soared. The damage is real and it's preventable. President Trump has ordered it to end.
We can't go on like this, and with this new food pyramid, we are making a real dent.
We have flipped the script on establishment nutrition, and we have turned the pyramid upside down.
Our public health priorities are now focused on prevention and science, no longer politics.
This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is a matter of health for America.
If it doesn't come from the ground or the water or the air, don't eat it. If it comes wrapped in a package, don't eat it. My message is clear: eat real food.
This is really just the beginning for a new day in America. The best is yet to come. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Sometimes in history, there's this magic moment. Somebody appears on the scene and everything changes.
I am with you.
We've never seen anything like this.
I will fight for you.
This was a man who's met his destiny.
And I will win for you.
He said he was saved by God in order to make America great again.
His victory was the greatest comeback of all time.
You're watching history, so buckle up.
I don't think the American people have ever seen this before. A government that has moved this quickly and a president that has done so much when it comes to the border and energy and major investments from other countries. It's like warp speed.
47's on a hot streak, bringing head-snapping change to Washington, overwhelming the system with a volcanic eruption of action. Trump has a mandate from the people, and he's using it, and they're just getting started.
President Trump said on the campaign trail, success will be my retribution.
Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free. We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do what I'm doing.
America's back, common sense is back. He is keeping his promise to you, the American people.
Inflation is down, growth is up.
The numbers don't lie. The economy is soaring.
Lowest gas prices in 4 years.
And record tariff revenue.
The USA is on a roll, culminating in the signing of the One Big Beautiful Bill on July 4th.
The Trump economic golden age is full steam ahead. America is back, thanks to the courage of President Trump, thanks to the leadership of his amazing cabinet, and thanks, of course, to our brave men and women in the United States military.
This is a message to the rest of the world. The days of ripping off America and Americans are officially over.
Between the attacks on Iran's nuke site and the Maduro operation, the U.S. military recruitment at an all-time high.
This president will go down in history as a peacemaking president.
Peace through strength, America's in charge.
And he's just got one filter, and that is America first.
Whatever they're doing, it's working. Zero illegal crossing, drug cartels frustrated, less crimes.
We have the most secure border in the history of this nation. If you think we're doing good now, you just wait till this coming year.
The president isn't taking his foot off the gas in 2026.
It's a new year. The stock markets are already making new record highs.
The Trump archive are a series of near impossible feats.
As for the next year, the American people have so much to look forward to. The president will continue to build off of his historic accomplishments.
2025 was setting the table, but the banquet's going to be in 2026.
This is the golden age coming.
He says, make America great again because every American is invited.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun.
Your HHS secretary. Before we get started, Mr. Secretary, how do you like your steak cake? Medium rare?
Well, I like it charred on the outside, Jesse, and then medium or rare inside.
Black and blue, just the way God intended it. So you've had about a year under your belt now. We've done vaccine schedules, flipped the food pyramid, pull-up bars in airports. What is your biggest accomplishment?
I think probably the most difficult and challenging was the most favored nation, where we were able to reduce drug prices so that now America will be paying the lowest prices in the world. We were paying for the past 30 years 5, 10, 13 times more for the same drug made in the same factory in New Jersey as they were paying in London or Paris or Copenhagen. And President Trump that has irked him for many, many years, and he put a lot of pressure on myself and Dr. Oz to negotiate new agreements with the drug companies, but also the European nations, using the threat of tariffs to force them to raise their prices and to force the drug companies to lower the prices that they charge Americans. So now we will be paying the lowest prices in the world, in the developed world, for drugs. And that's going to have a dramatic effect on affordability in this country. It was a very complex negotiation, and I don't think that we could have done it under any other president than President Trump.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. And
I'll
once
say
people
this
start
too,
seeing those price tags... Go ahead.
I think the food pyramid is really important. I think it's going to change the food culture in this country. We've been told for 50 years to eat refined carbohydrates and ultra-processed foods and salts and sugar. And it was all politicized science. It was all based upon the mercantile interests of the ultra-processed food companies that had captured FDA. And we've now applied gold standard science. We have the best nutrition scientists from the best universities in this country come together and use real science to design a food pyramid that prioritizes, as you said, proteins, fruits and vegetables, and high fiber grains. And that's what people should be eating, real food. The ultra-processed, we have, because of the old food pyramid, which put Fruit Loops at the top of the food pyramid, we have the sickest people in the world. We have the highest level of chronic disease in the world. Today, about 40 cents out of every taxpayer dollar goes to treating chronic diseases that are food-induced. We have an opportunity to change that now. Our food pyramid will drive changes in military food, at the VA, in prisons, in school lunches, and all of these subsidized programs like WIC and Head Start and the tribal food programs and SNAP. So American food is going to change almost immediately, and it's going to drive market changes as well, so that more and more good food will be available at affordable rates to every American.
Well, that sounds like a pretty big year. Anything next that we need to know about?
Oh, we have big plans for this year. We're going to do front-of-package food labeling. We're going to get kids to dramatically reduce screen time. We're doing physical fitness tests. We've got a lot of plans for this year, Jesse.
Good. Screen time especially. I just told my kids the cable's out and we have no Wi-Fi. And that lying seems to work pretty well. You might want to try that. And fitness tests for Greg Gutfeld.
You have 3-year-olds?
that.
Because my kids would not fall for that.
Okay, well, I guess maybe my kids are more gullible than the Kennedys. But, you try everything. Robert, great to talk to you, and thanks as always. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
Today, I'm thrilled to announce my plan to lower healthcare prices for all Americans and truly make healthcare affordable again. We're doing things that nobody's ever been able to do. We're calling it the Great Healthcare Plan. Instead of putting the needs of big corporations and special interests first, our plan finally puts you first and puts more money in your pocket. The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you. and then you take the money and buy your own health care. Nobody's ever heard of that before, and that's the way it is. The big insurance companies lose, and the people of our country win. This proposal locks in the massive discounts on prescription drugs that my administration is achieving through our most favored nation drug pricing agreement. Now, when you hear about that, for 40 years they've been trying to do it, but they never were able to do it. No other president was able to do it. I got every other country to approve it by the use of tariffs and other things. They all approved it. Nobody else got it. No other president got it. And for the most part, they didn't even try because they felt it was impossible. It'll bring down drug prices 80, 90%, in some cases, just numbers that nobody's ever heard of before. Your prescription drugs will come way, way down. And under this policy, the prices of many drugs will be slashed by 300, 400, and even 500% starting this month at the TrumpRx.gov. So instead of Americans paying the highest drug prices in the world, which we have for decades, we will now be paying the lowest cost paid by any other nation. So any other nation that's paying the lowest cost, that's what we're going to pay, and the American people will get the savings. So I have to reiterate, the lowest price in the world is what you're going to pay. Before, you were paying the highest price in the world by far, and the politicians did nothing about it. So I'm asking Congress to complete the work that we've started. Next, my plan would reduce your insurance premiums by stopping government payoffs to big insurance companies and sending that money directly to the people. Obamacare was designed to make insurance companies rich. I call it the Unaffordable Care Act, with billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies that helped their stock prices skyrocket over 1,700%. As you paid more money for health care every single year, more and more, the premiums went higher and higher. I want to end this flagrant scam and put extra money straight into the healthcare savings account in your name, and you go out and buy your own health care, and you'll make a great deal. You get better health care for less money. That way you can choose the care that is right for your family. To further reduce insurance premiums, my plan ends the giant kickbacks to insurance brokers and corporate middlemen that only drive up the costs, and that's what they're intended to do, drive up the cost. But we're driving down the cost. And it fully funds a long neglected part of the law known as the Cost Sharing Reduction Program. This measure alone should cut premiums on the most popular Obamacare plans. It's hard to believe there are any because it's a hated program. It's unaffordable, but it's going to cut them by an average of 10 to 15%. Next, the Great Healthcare Plan. That's the name. It's called the Great Healthcare because it's great healthcare at a lower price. Mandates unprecedented accountability and transparency from insurance companies and all healthcare providers so that special interests can no longer profiteer at your expense. As the saying goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. That is why my plan orders all insurance companies to publish rate and coverage comparisons in very plain English. It requires insurers to publish detailed information about how much of your money they're going to be paying out in claims versus how much they're taking in profits. In other words, you will be able to watch the scam. It forces them to release detailed data on how many claims are being denied and whether those denials are eventually overturned on appeal. And most importantly, it will require any hospital or insurer who accepts Medicare or Medicaid to prominently post all prices at their place of business so that you are never surprised and you can easily shop for a better deal or better care. And you're going to end up doing both. You're going to get a better deal and better care. We will have maximum price transparency and costs will come down incredibly. I'm calling on Congress to pass this framework into law without delay. Have to do it right now so that we can get immediate relief to the American people, the people I love. Thank you very much.
This is the largest investment in rural health ever in American history. On behalf of the 60,000 CRNAs, I'd like to thank President Trump and this administration for their support for rural health care.
President Trump, rural America thanks you for these new resources that are coming to our communities.
Certainly, being a physician in rural Georgia, our communities have many needs. Our goals are to expand access to care, improve efficiency, and improve patients' proximity to their doctors so that they can get high-quality care close to home.
The challenge with healthcare in America right now is so many people are profiting, but not at the benefit of the patients. What we want to see is that focus on physician-patient relationship, that relationship that actually benefits them not just from procedures and tests, but that relationship that helps us understand you, your condition, and how we can make your life and condition better.
This isn't a partisan issue. When you talk about the health of Missourians, Americans, it has to do with how do we improve outcomes of the United States when it comes to, survivability. It's just the right thing to do to make sure patients have the appropriate care.
We're going to keep our small hospital vibrant. We're going to keep it technologically advanced. And we're going to make sure that we can continue to take care of our friends and neighbors just like we always have.
Nurse practitioners are an essential piece of rural health care. And I want to thank President Trump for many of the things that he has done for our profession.
I want to thank President Trump for the opportunity to extend world-class care, not only to the cities in the United States, but also to the small towns and villages.
Thank you, President Trump, for rolling out the Great Healthcare Plan. This is going to help improve access in our communities, as well as the funding that's very needed.
It's also going to allow us to bring practitioners, doctors, nurses into these communities where they will hopefully spend decades of their life bringing quality care to these individuals. We got to invest in the place where America started, in our rural communities, and we got the right people, we got the right ideas. Now we have the right amount of money to make it happen. Next 5 years will change the face of rural health care.
The food pyramid upside down in an effort to help make Americans healthier. The new FDA guidelines call for more protein and whole foods and less sugar and processed foods. One of the goals of the new initiative is to reduce healthcare costs, as the U.S. has seen a sharp increase in obesity, type 2 diabetes, and other chronic diseases that cost taxpayers some $600 billion a year, according to the White House. Joining me now in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive is Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. Secretary Kennedy, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Maria, thanks for having me.
And I want to get your take on why now you decided to change the guidelines for diet and health. Walk us through those guidelines and what the impact will be.
Well, Brooke Rollins and I were confirmed on the same day. Brooke, of course, is the USDA secretary. And we began working on this project at President Trump's directive. Back then, it's taken us almost a year. We assembled the best food scientists in the world from the greatest American universities, and they have been a quarter debating these issues, looking at the science, and we've come up with guidelines that are actually going to benefit American health. The prior guidelines were driven not by health interests, but by mercantile interests of the food industry, which had captured FDA. And it was that impulse that drove Fruit Loops to the top of the food pyramid. We've now flipped the food pyramid, and we are urging Americans to eat real food, eat whole foods, meats and healthy fats like dairy, fruits and vegetables and whole grains. And today, Mary, we're spending $5 trillion annually on health. We spend 3 times per capita what European countries do. And we have the worst health outcomes, and it's mainly driven by food. About 40 cents in every taxpayer dollar now goes to food-induced chronic diseases. So the only way that we're going to lower healthcare costs in this country is by helping Americans to change their diet and eat healthy food, and this is the first major step.
It seems so obvious, some of these things, Secretary, with all due respect. I mean, of course, we want to lessen sugar in our diets. Why did it take so long to make this an actual guideline of a policy? And how significant an impact will this have? Because it seems to me that if you're going to get ahead of disease, then you're going to live longer. You're going to have to spend less on your own health care, and it saves the government and taxpayers money. What is your vision in terms of the overall impact, and how long will it take to take impact?
I mean, I think the reason that it took so long is that we have not had a president previously that's been willing to stand up to these very, very powerful interests, the food producers, the soda industries, which had dictated the parameters of this program. And now we do. This will change the dietary culture in our country. The most immediate impact that we're going to see is with military meals, with federally subsidized programs like SNAP, like the tribal health programs, like Head Start, and many others. It's going to change the diet in those programs, in prisons, any place where the federal government, in school lunch programs. Any place where the government is involved in subsidizing food is now going to change, and that will change the markets. We have, 78% of SNAP recipients, of food stamp recipients, end up on Medicaid. So we are paying for 10% of SNAP prior to when we got in here was going to soda drinks, which are poisoning people and giving them diabetes. 38% of American teens are now diabetic or pre-diabetic. That was essentially zero when I was a kid. Now it's 1 out of every 3 kids who walks into a pediatrician office. And we can change that with diet. Most people, most type 2 diabetes can lose their diagnoses simply by changing diet. It's much more effective than pharmaceutical drugs or pharmaceutical interventions or medical interventions.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we're doing is Brooke Rollins is requiring that any facility, any store that accepts food stamps will have to double the amount of whole food that is now available to recipients. So that will change the marketplace around the world, around the country. We're going to make sure that every American family, that affordable whole food is available to them at prices that they can afford.
Yeah. Secretary, this is so important. So many people are listening to you on every word, and I'm so happy to hear you say that this is going to trickle down into school cafeterias and into the lunch programs in school for our children. Are you getting blowback from any of the food companies, the makers of those sodas that you just talked about?
I'm very gratified that the American Medical Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics has gotten behind the new food pyramid. We are encountering resistance, and we will continue to.
Yeah.
The American Heart Association has been a critic, but that's an association that takes hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars a year from processed food companies.
Wow.
And what we're trying to do is to get rid of those conflicts of interest so that Americans can get good health advice and can follow direction that is going to actually improve American health.
Secretary, we so appreciate your changes and your leadership, sir. Thank you. Secretary Kennedy joining us this morning.
I'm Steve Doocy. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
The art of the $1 trillion deal on display. President Trump wrapping up an historic Middle Eastern trip with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, all pledging massive investments into America.
A lot of big numbers coming back with the president. $600 billion in U.S. investment with Saudi Arabia, $1.2 trillion in economic deals with Qatar, and $200 billion in commercial deals with UAE.
The best cure for Trump derangement syndrome is the truth. And they can't deny the truth that this trip has been an unbridled success for America.
Across the pond, there was a power summit of tech and finance titans at Chequers.
the official country residence of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. He and President Trump today rolled out a new blockbuster $350 billion tech prosperity deal, as it's called.
He combined diplomacy with business. Trump really used the spotlight, which he's done time and time again for 2 decades, to be able to draw attention but also move deals forward.
I give huge credit to the White House, to President Trump, and to Prime Minister Starmer.
This tech deal is a very big deal for both countries, according to the president and the prime minister.
President Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi signed a framework agreement for securing a supply of critical minerals and rare earths.
He got Toyota to spend, what is it? They're going to have like $10 billion on American manufacturing, Japan's biggest automaker.
Now think about as well the optics for Trump in this deal making across Asia.
Other Asian countries have announced trade deals with the United States. The president posted on Truth Social about one of them, posting that the country has agreed to pay the U.S. $350 billion. He says they've agreed to buy oil and gas in vast quantities from the U.S.
The president now finalizing a trade deal, by the way, with South Korea. Includes a $350 billion investment into the U.S. in exchange for lower tariffs.
I expect big things from these China talks overnight.
Wrapping up his 5-day Asia tour, it's the moment of truth for this trip, but the president is pretty cool as a cucumber.
Maybe part of the reason President Trump is so optimistic is because he's been building up momentum over the past couple of days, leading into this high-stakes meeting with President Xi,
which he says is going to, quote, work out well for everybody. The president is touting a successful trip so far from Malaysia to Japan to now in South Korea.
This president is ushering in the golden age of America. He's literally brought in trillions of dollars in new investment to America.
Actress and author Cheryl Hines joins us now. Cheryl, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Congratulations. Thank you.
The big question I think most people want to know is, how is it in the inside now of politics? Because you went from being loved by everyone to be a part of something so polarizing.
Yes, it's been an interesting transition because, right, I come from the comedy world where people want to laugh and have fun, and even if they're talking about politics, everyone seems to be able to laugh at it. So now being actually in politics and seeing it from the inside out, it's different. People have a lot of feelings and emotions, and we were talking for a minute that some people's politics just are a part of their identity, and they can't, they have a harder time separating it from all the other things in their lives. And so it's a challenging time for a lot of people, especially around the holidays.
I know, talking politics around the table with family. So how have you found, I'm sure when you married him, everyone in Hollywood is like, he's a Kennedy, we love them, we love their family, because Hollywood usually skews Democratic. But now he's working for Donald Trump. How did that change your lives? Have you lost friends in Hollywood because of it?
I have friends that I haven't talked to in a while, coincidentally, since the election, so maybe there's something there. But yes, you're right. You know, when I married Bobby, he was an environmental attorney and fighting for people's health, you know, suing companies and corporations that have toxins in their products or that they're releasing into the environment. And Bobby had a lot of support in the Hollywood industry. But when he turned to politics so he could work on those issues and really make a difference and try to get out some of the toxins in, say, baby formula, or work on favored nations drug pricing, so we're not paying more than other countries are paying for drugs. It has been a different reception, simply because of the administration and how people might feel one way or the other about President Trump and the work that he's doing and the work that Bobby's doing. Just that alone is enough to spark emotions.
Speaking of sparking emotions, I watched when you were on The View, your initial book tour, and you were, you had to feel like you were going to be engaged, and you were, but you were ready. Watch.
He sued these companies for health reasons because they were causing health problems.
But the problem, respectfully, is that your husband is the least qualified Department of Health and Human Services head that we've had in history.
I think
that's a very dangerous.
Why is he less qualified than an economist?
I think
How is that
he
possible?
is less qualified.
He has spent his career studying toxins, studying people's health, fighting for one guy who was using Roundup for his job.
So
you held your own.
I was ready. You know, it's been great that Bobby's been in office long enough to see a lot of the accomplishments that he's done. And she, she was talking about, too, that for whatever reason, people have been coming after Bobby saying he wasn't qualified because he wasn't a doctor. And I just wanted to point out that 90% of the HH secretaries have not been doctors. And one of them was an economist. So you just have to go through and just calm everybody down and say, why don't we just look at
So you're used to performing under pressure. But you also have the emotion of this is your husband.
Right.
So how did you, and plus, this is not necessarily your expertise. You're an actress, so you know that's his expertise. So how do you approach when those moments happen and you start getting scrutiny from people that aren't Trump fans or your husband's fans? Like, what goes through you?
Well, I like to stay calm and really try to connect with someone, because I think that's part of the problem is people put up their barriers and they don't really want to listen or really connect. So I was just trying to listen. I want to listen to, why do you think the way you think? And these are the facts. And can we both look at them together and talk? But, it's difficult. Some people don't want to engage that way.
I'm curious, because this Unscripted is about your entire life. RFK is only a part of your life. And it's also, the politics thing is very new. What in your life prepared you for this moment? Because this is a different time,
Well, it's a good question. It's a very good question, because my background is in improv. And in improv, the key is to listen to the other person, because there's no script. So all of your answers are in the other person. So when Bobby said he was going to run for president, yes, it was a hairpin turn in my life. And I wasn't expecting it. I could never have predicted that Unscripted would end in a Trump administration. But that's my life. That's what's happening. That's Bobby's life. It's an exciting time. And I think my background has always been family first.
Yeah.
No matter what is happening out there, if we have each other, we're going to be okay. We're going to be stronger. It's made our family unit really strong, our kids, because we can get together and really talk in an honest way and say, let's talk about what's really important, and let's talk about the noise that we can leave behind and be able to filter. Because in Hollywood, I didn't experience that. It would be on a different level, right? You have a movie, it comes out, it's joyful, everybody's talking about it. There might be some chatter of, oh, it's not a good film or this or that, but politics is next level.
When you talk about Unscripted, famously Curb Your Enthusiasm is known to, they'll set up a scene, but you don't have the exact dialogue. Can you give me an idea what the paper would say?
Right.
And when the scene starts, so for non-actors like us, what does it look like on paper, and how many times do you have to go through it before you and Larry come out? here's the scene. What do they tell you? And when did he tell you? How does it end?
Right. Well, a normal script for a sitcom would be maybe 30, 35 pages long. Ours was a story outline that was maybe 3 to 5 pages. So, you know, in the first scene, it might just say, Cheryl will tell Larry how long her parents are staying for the holidays. That's all we get. There's you're all like, I hope it's not long. And then, you know, and then Larry and I don't rehearse at all. There's no rehearsal. We don't talk about the scene. And then the cameras roll. And then I'll say, yeah, you know, my parents are coming. They're going to be here for 2 weeks, and then we're going to have a great holiday. And then, you know, I already know, well, Larry, that's not going to go well with Larry. So then Larry has his reaction to it. And sometimes we would get it on the first take. Everything was great. And then most of the time, after the first take, there's a conversation with the director that might say, this time, you know, keep the thing in about your parents and the 2 weeks, and let them know that your mom's been sick for a while too, so she has a cold. You know, so something that might be a little bit of a dig or something. So, so it was a very fun, loose process.
That's hilarious. My favorite is when you tell Larry he needs to tell the housekeeper she has to wear a bra because she's walking around without a bra on. And Larry goes, I'll do it. I'll tell her. It's so, because you know that's going to be a disaster.
Of course it's going to be a disaster. And then the next thing you know, Susie and I find him trying on my bra.
Yes, that's right.
Because he's trying to gauge the size of what he thinks a housekeeper's breasts would be. And, you know, you're watching it, you're just like, this is not the way this should go.
No. Then the husband finds out. He comes over. It's so good. It's unscripted. Congratulations, Cheryl. Thanks for spending your morning with us.
What a perfect Christmas gift.
Yes.
Right?
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a really fun read, I think.
Absolutely. Cheryl, great to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.
President Donald J. Trump Boulevard now stands as a permanent reminder for courage, leadership, and unapologetic patriotism.
I love the people of Florida. I love the entire Palm Beach area. I've been here for a long time, and I want to thank you all for being here. I'll remember this amazing gesture for the rest of my life. We're going to have 3 more great years, but hopefully we're going to have many, many decades of greatness in this country. So we have it off to the right start. Thank you all very much. What an honor. Thank you.
The story of Kennedy and Trump has changed the course of history forever. August 23, 2024 will forever be known as the day we turned the corner and took back our great nation and changed the course of history and brought hope to a free world. Join me as we relive the strange relationship between Kennedy and Trump, leading to their return to the White House to make America healthy and great again. I spent 2 years following the Kennedy and Trump campaigns. Long before the two men ever considered running for president, Kennedy sued Trump and stopped him from building a golf course near the Hudson River. After Trump won the presidency in 2016, he recruited Kennedy to look into vaccine safety issues. Kennedy was forced out the door after clashing with a man by the name of Anthony Fauci. But the assassination attempt on President Trump's life brought Kennedy and Trump closer than ever. From rivals to collaborators, from foes to friends, this is the story of Kennedy and Trump. You can download the book for free right now by going to kennedy&trump.com. That's kennedy&trump.com. My name is Greg Fernandez Jr. God bless you all.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. You see that beautiful milk? That's what we're here for. We're going to be discussing milk and whole milk and how good it is, and how nourishing. And these people all come from beautiful farms. They have a wonderful life. And they're happier today than they would have been if we didn't sign this. So we'll be talking about that in a second. Will, could you read the first two items, and we're going to get going after that. We'll be talking about a couple of things. We have some news on Iran, which we're going to talk about.
So shortly before you all came in, the president signed two executive actions. The first is the result of a Section 232 trade investigation into critical minerals supplies. What it does is it sets up a mechanism, a process by which the United States will seek to secure its international supply chain of critical minerals and critical mineral-derived products. The second is actually the result of another Section 232 trade investigation, this one into semiconductors. It sets up a two-phase process. Under the first phase, semiconductors that are imported into the United States of America that are not then used domestically to build out RAI or computing architecture here will be subject to a 25% tariff. So, for example, semiconductors that were transshipped through the United States to other foreign countries would be subject to that 25% tariff. But those are two executive actions that the president reviewed shortly before you all came in.
So they're going to sell chips, basically, and it's a chip. It's not the highest level, but it's a very good level. And China wants them, and other people want them, and we're going to be making 25% on the sale of those chips, basically. So we're allowing them to do it, but the United States is getting 25% of the chips in terms of the dollar value, and I think it's a very good deal. Great deal. We're taking billions of dollars. And they've done a fantastic job. But it's not the Blackwell or the Rubin. Those are the two top, but it's a very good chip. And people want it, and we think it's in our best interest to do. And we have some other little things to talk about. Maybe we'll start that first. Should I start that first? I think they're going to want me to. I have a feeling they're going to want me to. We have been notified, and pretty strongly, but we'll find out what that all means. But we've been told that the killing in Iran is stopping. It's stopped. It's stopping. And there's no plan for executions or an execution or executions. So I've been told that on good authority. We'll find out about it. I'm sure if it happens, we'll all be very upset, including you will be very upset. But that's just gotten to me some information that the killing has stopped, that the executions have stopped. They're not going to have an execution, which a lot of people were talking about for the last couple of days. Today was going to be the day of execution. And another piece of information that I think is very important is the leaker has been found and is in jail right now. And that's the leaker on Venezuela. And a very bad leaker. So there could be some others, and we'll let you know about that. We're hot on their trail. But the leaker has been found, and the leaker's in jail. And will probably be in jail for a long time. Let's see what happens. So we'll let you know. We'll keep you apprised as to what's going to happen with that. And I want to thank all of the incredible people behind me, political people, both Republicans and Democrats, because they like whole milk. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whole milk is, right? That's a great thing. The senator was in the office many years ago. It feels like many years ago, but quite a while ago, right at the beginning of my first term.
Yeah, with Elijah Cummings.
Right, with Elijah, a very good person. Wonderful. You and I had a good relationship with him. At that time, I think you were a congressman, and you've made a lot of progress. You've done very well.
Some would disagree.
I don't disagree. I think you've done a great job. But it's great. It's great to have you here again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So today, I'm delighted to sign the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act into law, which is a very important thing for our farmers, and I think maybe more important for our people, right? The people that drink milk. This is the first bill signing of the new year, and it will ensure that millions of school-aged children have access to high-quality milk as we make America healthy again. I want to thank Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins, who's behind me, Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., Senators John Boozman and Mike Crapo, Roger Marshall, Peter Welch, as well as Representative G.T. Thompson and Tim Walberg, all great people. Also with us today is USDA National Nutrition Advisor Dr. Ben Carson, my friend for a long time. We went head to head, and it was not easy going head to head with Ben. He's a great guy. He still looks good. That's because he drinks a lot of milk. And some of our nation's wonderful dairy farmers and their children. They're going to be farmers for a long time, we hope. As it currently stands, schools participating in the National School Lunch Program are only able to offer students low or non-fat milk options. That was changed during the Obama administration, and a lot of people disagreed with it at the time. With this legislation, schools will finally be able to expand their offerings to include nutritious whole milk. It's actually a legal definition, whole milk. And it's whole with a W for those of you that have a problem. Most of the media will get that. This is the perfect follow-up to the new Real Food Pyramid, and Secretary Kennedy and Secretary Rollins announced that last week. You probably heard. This legislation also allows parents to directly request a substitute for milk for children with dairy intolerance. Previously, parents were required to submit a written statement from a doctor, but we're eliminating that rather ridiculous policy, allowing parents to choose what is best for their child, which is a big move. Hard to believe that that would be a big thing, but it is. And of course, these changes will be major victories for the American dairy farmers, who we love and who voted for me in great numbers, I will say. I think I got every one of them. In December, I also signed the Secure Rural Schools Reauthorization Act, and I'm proud to say that these two pieces of legislation will give school-age children across the country the resources and support that they need, not just to succeed, but really to thrive in life and later on in life. So I want to ask Secretary Rollins to say a few things, and then I'd like to ask Secretary Kennedy and Dr. Carson. I'd also like to hear from these great political leaders, senators, congressmen, if they'd like to say something. I'd be honored. So, Brooke, do you want to start?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And what a joy and an honor it is to be here. I feel like I have the best job in the world with representing all of these farmers. And Mr. President, not in our lifetime, has been a president who loves and supports our farmers more, and certainly the dairy farmers. I want to thank all of our farmers here today, sir. Most of them are 5th and 6th generation. They represent states from all across our country, and bringing the children to and seeing what the next generation of dairy farmers looks like. The amazing thing is some of these farmers back here from Butler, Pennsylvania, he milks.
Where?
Butler, Pennsylvania.
I love Butler. I do.
Yeah, they love you. They love you. But he milks about 40 to 60 cows. And then we have Jamie from Wisconsin, who milks about 5,000 cows. So they represent all across the spectrum.
Wow.
And what this means. And I think it's important to note that in the last year, your support for these American farmers, for rural America, the One Big Beautiful bill was the largest investment in rural America in history. I think that's important to note. The trade, and I see my friend Jameson Greer over there and Howard Letnick on this end. We've opened up more than 24 different markets. Milk exports, dairy exports are up 23% just in the last year. And when you think about the ag deficit that happened under Joe Biden and the 4 years, we went from a surplus of agriculture products when we left the first time to a $50 billion deficit when we came back.
Yep.
So these are massive, massive wins for America, and I think it's important to note that. I also want to note, and you said it as well, that over a decade ago, Michelle Obama, in this very room, made an announcement on a short-sighted campaign to ditch whole milk in schools, and that's what we're working to fix today. Last week, Bobby Kennedy and Ben Carson and Dr. Oz and the whole crew, sir, announced the Dietary Guidelines for Americans 2025 to 2030, which also reintroduced full-fat dairy into a healthy diet. And today, by signing this bill, Senator Marshall and Congressman Thompson and both all the wonderful men to the right who worked so hard on this, Peter Welsh, it is a bipartisan issue, and understanding where we are in this country and how important the health of certainly our children are is so important. USDA is posting today the guidance. So we're signing the bill, and USDA, we're moving at Trump time, is posting today the new rulemaking that is necessary to get whole milk back into school lunches. So that's a really, really big deal.
So how long will that take?
It should just take a few weeks, and then the milk starts moving in. So it's a big announcement, sir, for our schools and our children. And I know Secretary Kennedy will talk a little bit about the health issues, so I won't do that. I'll skip over that. You mentioned, and the last thing I'll say, I know we're here to sign the bill on whole milk, but Senator Crapo's work and our wonderful friend Doug LaMalfa, who we lost way too soon,
Right.
their work on securing rural schools reauthorization act, how important that too is for rural America. 700 eligible rural counties across the nation are now guaranteed funds for schools and roads and infrastructure. So, sir, you say it all the time. Those are your people. They voted for you and with us and saw your vision from the beginning. This is who we're here to support today, in addition to the whole milk for healthy schools, which will help all children. Just remember, eat real food and drink whole milk. What a joy again it is to be here, and I especially want to thank all of our incredible farmers for what you do. So, sir, with that, I'll turn it over to Secretary Kennedy.
And just before you do that, how are we doing with food prices, bringing them down?
Yes, sir. Well, I'm glad you asked, because I brought a chart, and it just happened to be right behind me. So, speaking of milk, milk is actually way down, and I know we're here to talk about that today. Obviously,
44%.
That's right, sir.
44% down. Milk, 44% down.
Eggs is way down. Milk is way down. This is just since we took office, sir. Fresh whole chicken down 2%, cheese down, tomatoes down, butter down. Of course, eggs are way down. Potatoes down almost 3%, fresh fruits down almost 3%. But this is just the beginning. And as we continue to bring the cost of farming down, bring the cost of inputs down, open up the markets, support our farmers, we'll see even more affordability moving forward.
And eggs are down 31%, so that's really something. Where's Bobby?
Bobby's right here. I'm going to sit there.
Right here, Mr. President.
Go ahead, wherever you want. Go ahead. Good to see you. What do you like, Bobby?
And I want to echo what Brooke said about finally having a president that sees the alignment between farm prosperity, good food policy, and the health of our children. These are common sense associations. Democrats have been talking about them for eons. Republicans have been talking about them. We finally have a president that is implementing these policies and getting real food to our children. Today, President Trump signs the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act of 2025, a long overdue correction to the school nutrition policy that puts children's health first. For years, Washington treated fat, especially saturated fat, as the enemy. It made a war on saturated fat. This is the peacetime president. He's made 8.5 deals ending wars, and he's also ended the war on saturated fat. As a result, whole and 2% milk disappeared from school menus, even though science has never shown that whole milk harms children. Evidence increasingly shows the opposite. The panoply of nutrients in whole milk is critical to brain development and physical development in our children. Whole and 2% milk provide 13 essential ingredients critical for growth, development, immune system function, and overall health, including protein, calcium, vitamin D, and healthy fats. Yet since these milk options were removed more than a decade ago, school milk consumption and meal participation have declined dramatically. Today, between 68% and 94% of school-age boys and girls fail to meet recommended dairy intake, according to federal guidelines. When schools limit milk choices, the kids do not move to healthier substitutes. They move to caffeinated drinks, to sugar drinks, and to sweetened beverages. with little or no nutritional value and the potential to wreak havoc on metabolic health, which is driving the chronic disease epidemic in our country. During the same period that whole milk was regulated out of lunchroom, rates of childhood obesity and diabetes rose significantly. Removing whole milk did not improve health, it damaged it. Thanks to President Trump's leadership, this law fixes that mistake. It allows schools in the National School Lunch Program to offer whole, reduced fat, low fat, or fat-free, flavored or unflavored, organic or conventional. It restores choice to schools, parents, and students and encourages consumption of nutrient-dense foods that kids will actually drink. The law also removes unnecessary bureaucracy by allowing parents or legal guardians to request milk substitutes without the necessity of involving a doctor. And it corrects a flawed technical rule by excluding fluid milk from saturated fat calculations that distorted school menus. Milk fat is not junk food. Treating it that way undermined nutrition and ignored the science. Last week, Secretary Rollins and I unveiled President Trump's new food pyramid and updated our dietary guidelines with a clear message: eat real food. This law puts that principle into action. As Secretary of Health and Human Services, I support this reform because it aligns federal policy with evidence-based nutrition, not ideology or dogma. Healthy kids need real food. They need real protein. They need healthy fats, and they need policies grounded in reality and science. I want to thank President Trump again for his vision, for signing this bill, for continuing to put children's health first. This is exactly the kind of practical change that will make America healthy again.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. We have some milk here. It's been sitting here for 5 days, so it's from the original bottle, and I brought it so the press can have some. You can swig it all out of it. Remember the old days when we were kids, everybody shared a bottle? Today we tend not to do that, but if you'd like to, if you trust the person that you're drinking after, it's right here, it's yours, okay? It's semi-fresh, 5-6 days old. Thank you. So Ben Carson, a special man, knows a lot about health. He looks better than ever, so Ben, how about it?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for being interested in the health of the people. It's made a big difference in facilitating an atmosphere where the agencies can work together. Secretary Rollins, Secretary Kennedy, Marty McCary, Dr. Oz, the whole group, every week at least meeting once to talk about these things, and it's made a big difference. And I want to thank the dairy farmers. I know you guys have been in the doghouse for a little while. You're out of the doghouse today.
Yes, sir.
And, whole milk is a wonderful beverage. Good protein. We talk about real food. It is real food. Healthy fats, important nutrients. You look at vitamin D, you look at calcium, phosphorus, the things that are absolutely essential for bone development and for teeth. But as a neurosurgeon, the thing I really like is what the brain, what it does for the brain. The brain starts to develop right after conception and adds millions of neurons every single day. Continues to do that right up until the mid to late 20s. Now, it's important what that brain is getting during the development. Is it getting soda or is it getting milk?
So milk would help your cognitive ability.
Absolutely. You can tell who's been drinking.
Take a cognitive test. I've taken a lot of them. I've aced every one of them because I drink milk.
It's good for it, and it shows.
Do you consider there to be a big difference in taste between what you are having and this is just, it just looks so good sitting there, right?
Yes, sir.
It looks better. Tastes thick. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry to interrupt you.
When you go to school and you give the kids milk, real milk, they love it. When you pour this stuff that looks like, dish pan water, they don't particularly want that. It doesn't taste good either. So this is a great day. It's only a part of what's happening with our emphasis on health. our longevity has been going down. In other industrialized nations, it's been going up. It's because we haven't been paying attention to this. That has changed, and we want to thank you for your leadership.
Well, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you've done, too, for the country. I'd like to ask a few of our senators to say a couple of words. Maybe we should start with the Democrat in our midst. What do you think?
Peter Welch.
Peter Welch. And
Yeah.
thank you very much for being here, Peter.
No, thank you. Our dairy farmers are so vitally important, and they have a way of life that transmits from one generation to another, and it's tougher than ever for our dairy farmers in Vermont, our dairy farmers in Pennsylvania and others, South Carolina, are here. But they're the lifeblood of the community. Nobody works harder, and nobody does things that are better for our nutrition. And also for our kids, I'm in agreement. Kids having access to healthy milk is good milk, whole milk, is really good for them. And one of the things that I get very excited about, that really the Vermont farmers talked about, is they have their milk from their farm that then goes directly to many of our schools. And then kids come out to the farms and start seeing how milk is made, what farming is about. That's good for America. It's not a party deal. This has been a bipartisan effort. I appreciate working with my colleague, Senator Marshall, who did a great job, and JT when I was in the House. And Tim, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
President.
Peter. It's got to be like a 90-10 issue, another one of those 90-10. It's good to have you on our side. But it's a great issue, and it's a great thing to do, and we're very proud of it. We're very proud of our farmers. Senator, do you want to say a few words?
Sure, I'll be very brief. We all want to see you sign this bill. But I really appreciate you and Brooke bringing up the Secure Rural Schools legislation. This is critical legislation to our rural communities across this country, and we have to fight every couple of years to get it extended just a couple of years. And this extension we got this year went back to pick up a few years that we missed, and it's going to expire again at the end of the next year. And Mr. President and Secretary, I'm going to encourage us to get back in here to sign a Secure Rural Schools bill that is permanent. I want to set a goal, or hope that you'll set a goal with me to get that done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Greg. Anybody?
Mr. President. Yeah, Mr. President, thank you so much for having us here. On behalf of Kansas dairy farmers, thank you. Milk is the most wholesome, nutritious drink known to humankind. Not only is it full of essential nutrients, it's full of healthy fats as well as protein. As Dr. Carson pointed out, those healthy fats are what helps that brain develop and help you absorb the fat-soluble vitamins. The protein is why you drink milk and you're not hungry again in 30 minutes. And I have to point out that under the previous couple administrations ago, thanks to them, we have a whole generation of young adults who have osteopenia and osteoporosis because they never drank milk for an entire generation. So getting milk back in the schools is going to give us healthy bones and healthy minds. It sticks to your ribs, and it tastes great. Thanks for your leadership. Yes, sir, Mr. President. Thank you.
Anybody? Politically first, and then we're going to go to the farmers.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Mr. President, thank you so much. I want to ask Dr. Carson if there's an age limit on the cognitive ability. Drinking a whole lot more of this. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We literally have legislators here that have worked on this for years. This is something that's been very, very difficult. You're able to help us
You
get
would
it
think
over
it
the...
would have been very easy, actually.
Exactly, but you were able to help us get it over the finish line. You and your great team, Brooke, all of these people have done such a good job. Not only with this issue, but all that we're doing for the farm community, which is so, so very important. So thank you very, very much. And I know that you're going to continue to support farmers like you have.
We do, right from the
Since you
beginning.
were elected. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Mr. President, G.T. Thompson,
Yep.
Chairman of the House Agriculture Committee. I have been working on this bill for 15 years, and thank you.
That's amazing.
Because of your support and your leadership, we were able to get this across the line.
It's such a shame that it would be so hard. Do you
Oh,
think it would
common
be-
sense
Yeah, it's common
was
sense.
lost, and in the benefits today go to those precious children that we see over there. It goes to our dairy farm families who work so hard 7 days a week. There's no day off for a dairy farmer, and quite frankly, our rural communities who, when the misguided move to take whole milk and 2% milk and flavor out of the schools We lost a generation, probably 2 generations of milk drinkers, and it devastated those rural communities because you lose the dairy farms, then you lose all the supplies, businesses, and then you lose grocery stores, and you lose community pharmacies. Well, that day ends today with your signature, and we reverse that trend, and we build a robust rural economy. And I'll just close with what will be the theme of my next bumper sticker: whole milk heals.
That's right. Yeah, that's what they say. I think it's probably true. Anybody else?
Well, Mr. President, as chairman of Education and Workforce Committee, this fits, with the kids, with what they can enjoy in school and grow from. Also to have G.T. Thompson sponsor the bill on that committee, and I think I've worked with you for 15 years, but we finally got it done in committee. This makes an impact for education, for our workforce, the health that's there, and the reality of what this farming industry does. I live in the most diverse farm district in Michigan. Thanks for coming to Michigan yesterday.
It was great.
And my kids were raised on, it's legal now, raw milk, taken right out of the bulk tank. And my oldest son became a Pulitzer-nominated journalist for the Chicago Tribune, and I think the milk did it, right? Then I have the benefit of Dr. Carson being a graduate of Andrews University in my district. So all of that goes together. Thank you for signing this. It'll make a difference.
Great job. So how about a couple of the farmers? Would anybody like to speak? Would you like to? Do you want to just say how great milk is?
It's so amazing.
Yes, Mr. President, we want to say thank you for doing this. It's been stated several times how long this took, and so thank you for your support and leadership in finally making this happen. As a mom and a dairy farmer, this isn't just a big win for the dairy farm families across the country, but as it's been said, the millions of school-aged kids that depend on school lunches for their nutrition and to fuel their bodies. So thank you.
So they've been fighting this for years then, huh?
15 years.
Well, have you been fighting it? You're too young to be fighting it. Have you been fighting it for that long?
For a while, we've been fighting it. I mean, I think I speak for everybody. It's been a long time coming, so your leadership is it.
Well, it's great. I had no idea you were. Just seems to make sense, right? Hard to believe. When you said 15 years, I said, you have to be kidding. It's government is tough. Government can be very tough. How about you? Would you like to say something?
So we are very grateful and thankful that you passed this bill because it is common sense as to what we should be consuming. Right. Whole foods and whole milk. Unfortunately, that has not been the case for a few years. But research shows and our MAHA movements have been taking the right steps to make America healthy. And our children are growing into active teenagers and athletes. And what do they need? They need strong bones. They need the energy. They need the healthy muscles. And so we are so grateful that the science is there and we are actually at the right point and the right step making sure America is healthy. So we are very thankful.
It's so great. I look forward to getting it all the time. Sometimes I open a refrigerator and I say milk with rice and milk with water and milk with everything. And I say, what kind of milk is it? That's what I like right there. That's great. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Please, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Patrice Anruca. I am the Center Director at the Independent Women's Forum. I work on economic policies,
Right.
but I'm also a mom of boys, as you can see. This is Jesse. Jesse, you want to say your name and age?
My name is Jesse. I am 6 years old. I am 7 years old. I want to be an engineer when I grow up. I am a first grader. I also know where does milk come from.
Good job. Good job. Where does it come from?
So first farmers milk it, and then next they put it into a coal tank, and then they to take the germs out, they put it very hot, and then they put it back in the coal tank, and then they haul it to somewhere that is cold in a big refrigerator.
What, that is unbelievable. I'm going to give him a medal. Everybody, these guys want it. Let me tell you, politicians want it. I'm going to give that to you. Is that okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's
and
beautiful.
This is Daniel,
Wow.
his younger brother. Daniel, how old are you?
5.
And what grade are you in?
Kindergarten.
And these boys are involved in sports. They go to a public school in the Maryland area, and many of their friends are drinking the kind of options that they don't really like. And so it's good that as they get to drink a glass of milk every morning, their friends will be able to drink that at school as well. So thank you very much for what you're doing for public school kids in particular.
Beautiful people. Thank you very much. Doing a great job too.
Thank you.
Please.
I'm Amber Schwartz. I'm also with Independent Women, but I'm here with my son, Luke, who is 13 years old. We're in Alexandria, Virginia. Luke needs a lot of protein right now to grow. In fact, his doctor just told us between 60 and 70 grams a week. And I can't feed him a whole chicken every day, so supplementing with milk is really helping us. Unfortunately, at school, they've offered skim milk and chocolate, and he does not like either. And so he has been turning to the juice boxes and other drinks that have sugar. And so thank you for giving him the opportunity, and parents too, to make a choice.
That's great. That's really great. How about you?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm
Nice,
the one.
beautiful red hair.
Yeah. I tried to match here, so.
Yes.
But I'm the aforementioned one from Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So you know that place very well, and we still love you. So,
Thank you.
But Mr. President, I was thinking last night when I was milking what I was going to say, and I thought, well, this is such a monumental day in agriculture, not just dairy farmers, but for all of agriculture, because this helps me as a producer, helps the processors. It also helps these kids here. So it's good all around, and this is perfect legislation, a great day for America is what this is.
Thank you very much. Beautifully said, and we appreciate it. And it is a great place that you come from. I love it. Please.
Mr. President, thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I think this is about choices. This day's been a long time coming. We've been waiting on this for many years, and it's great that we're able to provide choices now in schools with whole milk. Well, thank you for that, and thank you for everything that you do for the dairy industry. That us dairy farmers produce valuable nutrients every day for consumers.
So you're going to need to produce more milk because you're not mixing it up with all sorts of things, right?
That's right.
That's great. It's a big. How much of an increase will that be? Do you have any idea? A lot more.
A lot more. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's great, boy. That's so good for the industry.
Absolutely.
Hard to believe you had to wait so long.
Yep. So thank you.
Would you like to say
Mr. President, I'd like to thank you again for your support behind this, and the gentleman standing behind you. Like you said, we worked 15 years on it. I advocate for our industry a lot out in the community, and I know I've been into high schools, I've been in middle schools where the students want milk. I did a taste test one time at a high school where we gave them whole milk versus the skim milk their school was giving them. The kids love the whole milk. So just your all support behind us, your support getting it pushed through, I really appreciate what you've done and what the gentleman behind you were able to do.
We support the farmer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The farmer knows what's right better than anybody else. Bobby would tell you that. I mean, the farmer, they know what's right.
Yes, sir.
Especially when it comes to things like this. Sorry it took so long. It was 15 years. I can't believe it. Howard, would you like to say something?
What's amazing is that the president has the leadership and common sense to drive the right outcomes. Why should kids not be given the choice to drink whole milk? How is that even possible? So it's amazing to work for you because you just own common sense and you're driving it through our economy, you're driving it through the farmers. You've got great leadership in Secretary Rollins and Secretary Kennedy, and it's great fun to be here because, I mean, think of today. I mean, how much fun is this? It's just common sense. Come on.
Like the Oval Office.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Even the media, they come here, they're here a lot, but it's sort of like you're in the Oval Office. It's the whole ballgame. It all begins and ends and then re-begins here. There is no place like it, right?
Yes,
Isn't that exciting? There's no place like it. If you love the country especially, there's no place like it. So thank you. Thank you, Howard, very much. So let's sign it. Should I sign it?
Yes, sir.
Your last chance. I think you go another 15 years. Right? Let's do it. Do it?
You go stand right there by
Come on, right here.
Jesse, come on.
We have to do a good one here. This is right?
Yes, sir.
This
Yes,
is
sir.
an important one for me. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Which signed by AutoPen. So you can never make a mistake. They made a lot of mistakes. Anyway, here it is. Thank you. Thank you all very much. You have it?
Thank you.
Gonna
Thank
drink it?
you.
I'm going to start drinking a lot of milk.
We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. That's great. You hold that on for a little while. You'll give it to us later, okay? It's a good job you did. That's great. So, any questions on what we just signed?
Mr. President, on Iran, Mr. President,
Yeah, let's talk about this.
I've got one in the milk. Coming from a family, my dad was a dairy engineer from Texas Tech
So you're a
University.
big, strong guy.
There he is. Drink lots of whole milk in my day. Would you look at this as being a shift from what the industry kind of went woke with the oat milk and the almond
It's
milk?
going the exact, it's amazing.
It's going exactly the opposite direction. Let's talk about the impact of dairy farmers on this whole thing.
There are a lot of changes being made in the last year. As you know, we're still a little bit less than a year. I think there's probably never been a year like this for a president or for a country. We have tremendous success. We've had success with everything we've done. And the economy now is coming back. And here's an example of farmers. They're going to be working harder to produce because it's not going to be watered down by something. And it's great to see it. And if you'd like a zip of that, I'd give it to you. It's actually been here. It's only been here for a few minutes before we started. It's not 5 days. 5 days and open, right? No, it's not. But it's an honor. What we've done in the country in the last year, it's incredible. All of us together. It's incredible. So I appreciate the question.
Mr. President, Ron, you said that the killing has stopped. Who told you that the killings have stopped there? And if it's the Iranian regime?
We have been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place. There was supposed to be a lot of executions today, and that the executions won't take place. And we're going to find out. I mean, I'll find out after this. You'll find out. But we've been told on good authority, and I hope it's true. Who knows, right? Who knows?
We've
Crazy
seen
world.
buybacks, so how do you trust them?
You've seen that over the last few days, and they said people were shooting at them with guns, and they were shooting back, and it's one of those things. But they told me that there'll be no executions, and so I hope that's true.
Does this mean military action is now off the table against Iran?
Well, we're going to watch and see what the process is, but we were given a very good statement by people that are aware of what's going on.
Is that still considering military action? Is that still a threat?
No executions. Everyone's talking about a lot of executions were taking place today. We were just told no executions. I hope that's true. That's a big thing. Yes, ma'am.
The Foreign Minister of Greenland, she said a while ago in a press conference in an embassy of Denmark that she made very clear in the meeting that happened here in the White House what are their limits. She also said that it was a very respectful meeting. Are those limits going to be respected?
Well, we're going to see what happens with Greenland. We need Greenland for national security, so we're going to see what happens. They're going to brief me on the meeting right after this conference. In fact, the sooner I get you out, the faster I'm going to know exactly what happened. But we have a very good relationship with Denmark, as you know. We'll see. But, we're doing the Golden Dome. We're doing a lot of things, and we really need it. If we don't go in, Russia's going to go in, and China's going to go in. And there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it, but we can do everything
There's
about it.
no more than what they can do than
Well, we're going to see. I mean, look, we're going to see what happens, but we need it. I'm not the first one. This was talked about by President Truman, and 40 years before President Truman, they were talking about it. They've been talking about this for 100 years. This is not anything so new. A lot of people don't realize that, but this was a hot subject. Probably not as hot as it is now, but it was a hot subject for a long time. We need it for national security, and that includes for Europe. And I spoke with, as you know, Mark, the head of NATO, and he really wants to see something happen. It's very
It's being reported that Health and Human Services released frozen funds to Planned Parenthood. I'm wondering why this happened and why Planned Parenthood is receiving any federal funds.
I don't know anything about it. Bobby, do you know anything about it?
What was the question?
It's being reported that frozen funds were released to Planned Parenthood in December by HHS. I'm wondering why that happened.
I haven't heard
I have
that.
not heard that.
I have not heard that.
Mr. President,
Mr. President,
on
Mr.
NATO,
President.
on NATO, right now, it sounds like you are saying that you would potentially acquire Greenland by force. That would be a NATO country.
You're
united.
saying that.
Are you saying that? Would you do that?
No,
by
you're
force?
saying that.
Would you
I
acquire
didn't
them by
say
force
that.
right
You're
now?
telling me that that's what I'm going
I
to
think
do.
we're-
You don't know what I'm going to do.
So what are the options?
Your
then?
network
Because
doesn't know
the Danish foreign minister said that there's still fundamental differences after the meeting with Rubio and with the vice president. Are you willing to leave the NATO alliance in order to get what you want with Greenland? What are the options right
Well, I
now?
wouldn't be telling you what I'm willing to do, certainly. I'm not going to give up options, but it's very important. Greenland's very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen. We're not, I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. They were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there last month. They added a second dog sled. That's not going to do the trick.
Denmark fought alongside the United States in both Afghanistan and Iraq.
I appreciate it.
But
I have a very good relationship
they're
with
an
Denmark,
ally of
and
the
we'll see how it
United
all
States,
works out. I think something will work out. Yeah.
Mr. President.
On Venezuela, Cabello, the de facto number 2 in Venezuela right now, he seemed pretty reluctant to work with the U.S. And obviously he's
They just gave us 50 million barrels of oil.
the number 2, the Venezuela security chief.
I know the number one, we just had a great conversation today, and she's a terrific person. I mean, she's somebody that we've worked with very well. Marco Rubio is dealing with her. I dealt with her this morning. We had a long call. We discussed a lot of things, and I think we're getting along very well with Venezuela. Yes.
Mr. President,
You created
President.
a new assistant attorney general position dedicated to rooting out fraud in the
Yeah,
United
it's
States.
fantastic. The person is fantastic.
Who is it?
It's a he.
When are you
I
going to
will tell you maybe within minutes. I mean, I don't know if it's appropriate to say yet because we're going through a process, but we have chosen a person who's very tough, very smart, very fair.
You gave a speech yesterday in Michigan about how you've recalibrated the American economy to work for workers, U.S. auto factories. We've seen core inflation's completely tamed. You lowered the trade deficit. It's the lowest amount since 2009. American exports are growing. But we're also waiting on the Supreme Court case for the tariffs. Given the success that you've had in the first 12 months, what is at stake in this case,
It's a
sir?
little bit like whole milk. I can't believe we even have a case. This was a case started by very China-centric people and also anti-American people, frankly, people that don't want us to do well. Tariffs have helped us stop 8 wars. They've helped us get the best trade numbers we've ever had. They've helped us get $18 trillion brought into the country. And maybe above all else, they've given us tremendous national security. Just the threat of tariffs. You saw that just yesterday when I put tariffs on a certain country. We won't talk about that country, but you know who it is. Based on the fact that if you do business with that country, it's going to make them, it's going to bring them to the table a lot faster. So we have made hundreds of billions of dollars with tariffs. We have very little inflation. Think of it. Inflation's gone down and productivity, everything has gone up. We've never taken in money like we have. We've never had anywhere near $18 trillion invested in our country. Neither has any other country. It's the biggest number by maybe 5 times. 5 times, not 5%, 5 times. Nobody's ever seen numbers like this. We have plants going up. You mentioned I was in Michigan yesterday. I was at the Ford plant where they make the Ford 150. It's one of the original plants. It was from before World War I. It's a giant plant. That plant was probably going to be closed. And 2 years ago, they were doing very poorly. And now they just announced yesterday that they're going to go 24 hours around the clock. 3 shifts, which they rarely do. That's Ford, and Ford's having the best numbers they've ever had. General Motors having the best numbers they've ever had. Stellantis, which hasn't been here, is now investing billions, tens of billions of dollars on building in the country. We're building auto plants all over the country. We're building AI all over the country. We're leading China by a lot, and a lot of it has to do with tariffs. That would be a very disappointing decision. And especially since the people that are fighting me are people that want China to do well. And we're doing great against China. We're doing great against everybody. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. As I say often, we're right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And a year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Thank you very much, everybody.